Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all over the world, the moment all weekend that you've been waiting for. We are back. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brandon. I'm with the Rags to Riches community. In fact, I am the CEO, the CFO, the COO, and the Supreme Ayatollah. You are here right now because you have nothing better to do. Godfather J6, dang, showing up. Numero uno. What is going on here? Facing reality. Bam! Elbow coughing it up. What's up, my brother? What's up? What's up? Footsteps. Let's effing go. Footsteps says I'm ready. And subscribe, Florea Marius. Hi, everyone. I love to see this market. Does everybody love to see this market? That's the question. Florea Marius, best time to buy. Dougie Peach. Bang, bang, boom. We are doomed. Dougie Peach. Dougie Peach bearing it up. Funding gem in a house. This is the time to gather good wood for spears. Sharpen the blade. Prepare for the war of finance. Here, my friends, is where Spartans are born. Here is where they earn their freaking voice, folks. Woo! That felt good. I 100% agree right there. I like that. Put that on a t-shirt or something. On the side of a plaque. Bearded saint in the house. Footsteps. Never thought I would be happy working on my hamster wheel, but the bear market is the best time to do overtime. Amen to that, my friend. Amen to that. The Church of Universal Oneness, Peace, Prosperity, and PulseChain. I'm not having to catch up. It's 75. Oh, yeah, 1.75x speed. Outstanding. Footsteps says CEO. Footsteps says we are ready. Hex on air. Intro, put my girl to bed, and then I'll be back. Outstanding. Sandy B in the house. Man, we've got some intros today, man. Digital substance market crashing equals PulseChain getting closer. In fact, every minute that passes, every second that passes, we get closer. We get closer and closer. All right, let's check this out. What do we got here? The Church of Universal Oneness, the Supreme Ayatollah, D. Marino, what's up, Rags and chat? ATX Danga, what is going on? The song is timeless, he says. Digital substance. Chad, D to, actually, you know what? I've always got this wrong. It's not D to the 7th. It's really D to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13th. Chad, D to the 13th in the house. Amicable C, let's show the hexagon way. J Perry 014, Hex is created is created to perform in the bear market. Caroline says, so close I can feel it. All right, guys. Well, you guys know what we do next. We're going to play my 8-bit intro, and then we're going to get into it. Let's go.
Do not like or comment on any of my videos, and please do not subscribe.
Man, guys, woo! It is brutal out there. People losing their ever-loving minds. What do you guys think about this stuff, man? Maybe we can make this a little bit bigger here. So here's the cool thing. All these fancy lines and all these fancy things that we drew, it's actually kind of, we wicked down perfectly. I mean, we touched that. It couldn't have been even more perfect. 2 wicks over the weekend. Coming on down here. Now, we had a massive amount of sell volume back on the 27th of May. We kind of drew our line there. Now, here's the question of the day. Here is the question of the day. The next level that I think we're going to be playing around with is probably about 2 cents, 0.22, and then 0.2. Those, if we fall through this 0.03 level, then I think that we see that pretty quick. So the question becomes, are we going to chop sideways here for a while? What's the deal? I'm going to say this over and over, and I don't see this enough on crypto Twitter. I think that people supremely underestimate the amount of weight, the amount of shoulder weight that the macroeconomic environment puts on cryptocurrency at large. And I think a lot of people live in this fairy tale land that says, oh, we're decorrelated and the blah, it's not as bad as, no, it's rough. If the Fed comes out on Wednesday and decides that they want to increase things by more than 0.5 or 50 basis points, rather, if they want to increase it by 75 basis points or maybe even 80 basis points, Guys, we are standing at the edge of a void. We're at the precipice of something really, really bad with regards to the world economy. So we have to take that in consideration. We just have to, okay? And I'm not the type of person to try to pump and shill my own channel here, but we've talked about this for how long, guys? I mean, how long we've been here? We've been here for 6 months, and now it's happening. Now, here's what's going to be crazy. This is how this works. I think you're seeing the market react right now to what they think is going to happen on Wednesday. The Wednesday numbers are going to come out. The rate hike's going to hit. People are going to freak out. It's going to be volatile. The market's going to go up and down randomly. It's going to be like on a Thursday at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something. The global markets are going to absolutely tank. It's going to be a spectacle that some of you have never seen in your lifetime. It's going to be absolutely crazy. It's going to come out of nowhere. And everything that you thought possible in terms of how far down you think traditional markets can go down, you might want to kind of throw that out the window here, man, because there is some stuff in they don't tell you about these things. They don't tell you that this is possible. It's going to come as a surprise to the mainstream media. While we knew we were going to have a correction, but maybe not necessarily this bad. It's going to happen. It's going to hit hard. It's going to freak a lot of people out, but it's not going to freak you guys out because you guys are doing what you got to do. You guys are doing what you got to do. You guys are working hard. You guys are accumulating money. You guys are DCAing in. You guys are stacking reserves. You guys are prepared. This is where the Spartans are made, right here. This is where what did he say? What did old Fun and Jim say? Friggin', this is the time to gather wood for the spear, sharpen the blade, prepare for the war of finance. Here is where Spartans are born. If you are around right now, after all of this, props to you. You have increased your chances of success by many orders of magnitude. Well done. So let's get into the crypto news here. Actually, you know what? let's go over some charts. Hedron chart's absolutely getting destroyed. From all-time high right now to where we are, we're at about 97%. Now, this is important too. This is going to be important with a lot of these charts, especially for Hedron, and it's because Hedron just launched. They launched in a bear market. They don't have any type of price history behind March, essentially, or the late February. So this 97% drop, this is basically a reflection of what's happening in DeFi at large, right? I've seen a lot of people gang up on other projects, gang up on Hedron, and I think it's disgusting. I think it's reprehensible that people are taking advantage of these projects and these people, and we're all in this together, guys. Just understand that if you were going to buy something like Hedron or you were going to buy something else, right? I mean, there is no better time in the history of the world with severe bear markets. You can risk a very small amount, much less than you would have at the top of the market, to make outsized returns. So please keep that in mind. And please, when you see stuff on Twitter, this infighting and this, the sharks coming out and just biting each other and say, come put money in my project instead of your project. This project sucks. Look how far down it is. And then you realize, well, wait a minute. Why is that other project up? Maybe they've got some people propping up the price. Maybe they've got folks doing that. So it's artificial anyway. Just be careful about that. All right, let's take a look. Pulse Doge. Pulse Doge is chopping back and forth. Pulse Doge has pretty much kept its value. Probably the best out of any token that I've seen since launch. Again, I think there are some folks with some big wallets that are keeping this price propped up. So we'll see if it chops back and forth in this channel. BTC. Woo! Good God Almighty. How y'all feel about old BTC, man? Now, we said this is a distribution channel. We said we can fall out of this thing in a second. And then when we fall out of this thing, we're going down to about 20,000 pretty quick. I mean, I didn't think it was going to happen that fast. This could be a capitulation candle just for the time being. I think we do find some support right around 20,000. I really do. And if you guys notice, that's that's the previous all-time high, right around 20,000 of 11th of December 2017, or that the week of December. So Bitcoin, it's going. A lot of Bitcoin maxis are freaking out. I think it's hilarious because they're having to eat their words more and more and more now. They've been trashing DeFi for since November of 21, and now they're on their way down. They hit 20,000, they're going to be 70% down. If they hit around 13,000, which is the next big area, of supply, we're going to be at about 80% down. So here they are. They're going to be like, well, we only went 80% down, and you guys went 85% down, and God, man, BTC holds its value so much better. But here's one thing that you got to kind of think too, right? If we zoom way out, let's zoom way out here. And these green lines, these are the halvening periods for Bitcoin. Going all the way back to 2010, 2012, you got to wonder, all this inflation, all of this expansionary monetary policy, is that what caused Bitcoin to freaking go on a tear? Is that what caused? Are we just seeing a major overinflation of what it should be? What if we got freaking crazy? What if this is a correction? What if we go down to about $2,000 a Bitcoin? Would that be crazy or what? Now, here's the thing. We've got so much more infrastructure in place and so many more people participating that I think that if we went down, I don't think we'd go down that low, but if we did, man, I think it would just absolutely tear. But we took a fractal from back here in 2014 because it kind of matched up a double peak cycle back then. And I will say this, we've had this on here for 3 weeks now. And this is a weekly chart. We'll see where this next one prints. I would estimate that the very bottom of this market would be probably January of 2023. Now it could be sooner than that. And it looks like we're kind of speeding up here. But we could see the bottom January 2023, and maybe not revisit an all-time high again for Bitcoin, maybe until July of 2024. Those are the timelines that we're dealing with, especially with the Fed saying it's 200 basis points that they're going to crush the economy with. They have to crush the economy. Now, why do they have to crush the economy? It's because the damn economy, inflation accelerated last month. It didn't just slow, it freaking accelerated, man. Dear Lord. All right, let's check total crypto market cap. Here's what's interesting too. Last week we talked about it. Here's total crypto market cap. We've had a line of support all the way back, going back to 2011 for the total crypto market cap. And we have respected this line of support on multiple occasions. For only the second time in history, we have actually fallen through that. The first time being the Charlie 19 crisis back in March of 2020. And now here we are. Where do we go? Again, I think that, we're under 1 trillion market cap for total crypto market cap right now. I think that we're going to see about a 700 billion market cap pretty soon. We're currently at 942. We go to 700 billion, and if we go under that, we're like at 400 or 500 billion. So it's getting kind of crazy. I think though the institutions are like, okay, after this, they're gonna control 95% of these markets. They pushed, at the centralized exchange level, they pushed most everybody out at this point. So it's just it's crazy. Let's check chat here before we move on. We're going to get into the crypto news, and then we're going to get into the world news like we always do. Guys, I think I can officially say that I am not bald, and you guys called me out for 18 months about I was bald and I'm just trying to cover it up. Not bald. Got a beautiful ginger head of hair. +1 in chat. Ooh. Ooh la la. All right, let's check here. We'll go down. DJ Cryptomatic says, say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Evo, Mudhog. Can't believe I'm gonna watch this. Mudhog, you show up for that punishment every day. Okay, we're gonna keep going. Man, we got some comments today. Hex ETH is green. It's just money. It's not going to matter if things keep going up this way. Might as well load up and hope it recovers. We're going to be eating our neighbors in a few months. Hopefully you live next to liberal neighbors who don't believe in gun control, or do believe in gun control rather, because that would be the optimal target. That's why I moved to the neighborhood I moved to. Unhexable. What's good, fam? What is good? Caroline Benzing, props indeed. DJ, I'll be back on Twitch in a few, hopefully soon, brother. All right. I've been in Twitter jail today for a hot minute. Not a nice place. Bugs. I made it. What's up, dude? What's up? Hex Hodl. All of this is artificial. It ain't natural. I know. All of it is. It's been artificial for a long time. But now we get to see how crypto operates in a massive recession. Recession? Rags, did you say recession? Guys, newsflash, we've been in a recession. It's only going to get weirder. It's going to get freaking weird. I sent that tweet out last night. I said they're going to be studying this in textbooks for a century, and all the causes leading up to this and what not to do. The CEO speaks the truth. What kind of BS company is this? I know CEOs don't speak truth. What are you talking? Once Sailor's bankrupt, then it goes back up. Huh. You think he can squeeze out any more money? I don't know his situation. I know that he's like $400 million loss at this point, but he hasn't sold. I mean, I don't think he can get liquidated for a variety of reasons. It's a good talking point. But can you imagine if he does get liquidated? Can you imagine if he gets liquidated, and then can you imagine if Mt. Gox hits? And they unload all that supply in the market. Oh man. There's your 10,000. There's your 2,000, folks. There is your $2,000 Bitcoin. I like seeing BTC fall fast because I want it to move forward to 11K and see if we can get out of this bear market. 18 to 24 months, guys. I think that we're going to be in for some pain. We're going to be in for some pain, but just keep working. Try to stay off his Twitter as much as possible. That damn dumpster fire is not good for anybody. I got to be on there, but I try to limit it as much as possible. Sometimes I get sucked into the arguments. I'm pretty good about not getting sucked in. I mean, if I'm going to toot my own horn and be honest about it, I'm going to be honest. That's what I'm going to say. Axe the Owl, what is up, y'all? Happy James, stock market has crashed today. You ain't wrong about that. Reagan, Milt, not bad, but you're supposed to be growing a giant beard. No, not yet. Not until Pulse is launched. The day that it's launched, here's what we're going to do. I told you. I got one of those like man tents that like extend out like this, and on stream, dude, we're going to do a shave and a haircut, man. I might even get my barber in here and do it live. How about that? We'll just like take all the hair off my face. I could go Mr. Clean too. You guys want me to go Mr. Clean? I might raise some money for Christmas if y'all want me to go Mr. Clean. DD, Existentialist. Yo. Loving your shows, man. What's up? Sorry. I mean, I hate them. Yeah, you're disgusting. Can't believe you said that. Montana Corner. What's up? Big Miners. Yo, what's up, my people? General E. Stone. Dude, Blue Bomb. What's up, my ragakins? I thought you were going to say ragcoons. Ragakins. Dude, by the way, a raccoon is my favorite animal. I do call them trash pandas. And the orange friggin' bear looking things from China with the rings around their tail, those are pumpkin spice trash pandas. So just to let you guys know that, those raccoons and pandas are my favorite. Bitfiness, life's just better when you're using home row without taking your hands off the wheel. We really figured it out here, boys. Optimus Prime, 369, damn good fine. Richard, follow that guy who does the whiskey commercials. Richard should follow that guy that does the whiskey. There's some girl around Twitter that's a whiskey rep too. Rags looking like Baby Driver. What are you talking about, Alan? You freaking crazy. Pulse beard. Just Diet Purple. We Diet Purple, folks. We all know it's easier to shave your head than to grow your hair out, right? Nah, man. I'm good, man. Pumpkin spice trash pan is for the win. All right, let's get into the news of the day because I'm tired of hearing you guys bitch and moan and complain here. All right. So let's talk about the fallout. Let's talk about the SITREP, man. What's going on right now? Where does the whole market stand? Well, I'd say for the most part, we do a pretty good job of keeping our stuff together in this chat. Because if you can't keep your stuff together, old Terrafin's going to come out of the woodwork. He's going to do some damage to you. But we're keeping our stuff together. We talked about this too. You know, when you think you're on your deathbed, you start acting kind of crazy. You start doing things that you might regret if you actually don't end up dying. And that's the same way in a bear market. You might not want to act crazy on Twitter because people can pull your tweets up after about 2 years. They can see where you're at. So don't act stupid. Don't do something to embarrass yourself in the future because this stuff does not go away. Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange, briefly halts Bitcoin withdrawals. Well, I mean, here's the thing. It happened to me back in 2017, multiple occasions. Couldn't do anything for 12 hours at a time. You miss huge runs. And you're trading and you're like freaking out. You're trying to make your money and you get pissed off. It's just not good, man. It's not good for the psyche. But guess what? Binance shut it down. Not your keys, not your coins. That's just one example. We've got quite a few others. Major cryptos, Bitcoin USD is down 20%, is cratering to 23.3 in early morning trading. Ethereum down 18.8%, is nosediving to 1.23K. And Binance Coin down 15%, is dipping to 224. In turn, global crypto market cap tanked below 1 trillion for the first time since January of 2021. Markets burning. CZ said a temporary pause of BTC withdrawals on Binance due to a stuck transaction causing a backlog. Should be fixed in 30 minutes or less. We'll keep you updated. Not yo keys. Not yo coins. All right. Carnage at major crypto bank. The crypto bank is Celsius. It tanks the market. It could get worse. This article is on barons.com. Investors fear that a major crypto yield company, this is good, major crypto yield company could be nearing collapse. The fallout might bring down the market with it. On Sunday evening, Hoboken, New Jersey-based crypto firm Celsius Network said it was pausing customer withdrawals from its platform to stabilize liquidity and operations while we take steps to preserve and protect assets. At least for now, billions of dollars worth of crypto in the firm, which some customers treated like a bank, is trapped. Billions of dollars trapped. Not your keys, not your coin. Guys, this is going to be a global mass extinction event. Do you guys get that? Some of you might not. This happens in bear markets, man. All the flaws and all the vulnerabilities, it's just too much of a load for these people to handle. It hasn't been thought out and things break, and you're going to see it over and over and over again. Here's the cool thing. You have a cryptocurrency like Hex that is, a lot of people are saying Hex, outside of our community, Hex is like Luna. It's a scam. It's going to collapse eventually. Blah, blah, blah. It's not going to collapse because it's nothing like that at all. It's not created or engineered in such a way that would cause a mass collapse of that nature. So when we survive this entire bear market and we thrive, we're going to be one of I'd say in the minority of tokens who survived, and that's going to lend us a lot of credibility moving forward, and that's going to make you feel really, really good too. I got into a conversation yesterday with some folks on Twitter, and I made the point. I said, listen, Hex is, well, I said Bitcoin incentivizes miners to provide security for the network. They incentivize miners by inflating the supply and giving that inflated supply to Bitcoin miners. So that's their reward. And what Hex does, we don't have to provide security. Ethereum, the Ethereum network, layer one, provides that for us. We incentivize stakers to prop up price by holding. And I was really actually floored about the amount of people who got into that chat and were responding 100% emotionally. It didn't matter if I was showing them facts. They've been so downtrodden by all these fudsters within our own community, and they've bought into it, and they're hurting because they invested too much money, and they've probably already sold, and they're pointing the blame at people, and they're pointing the finger, but they just don't understand the basics of how Hex works. I had a person say, you know, the staking class does nothing to prop up price. Does nothing to prop up price. And it's just mind-blowing. And just mathematically speaking, that's crazy talk, right? But there's a lot of folks out there that are hurt. There's a lot of folks out there that are frustrated. Hopefully they stick around. And here's the problem. The problem is if they don't take advantage of this bear market, they're going to have to wait another 4 to 6 years, potentially longer, especially if this second round of money just comes barreling in after this bear market. The infrastructure is there. Got to understand the infrastructure is getting better. You got to understand also the human capital is increasing. So this isn't going anywhere, folks. So you got Celsius, man. I can't tell you how many people have told me, like, Brandon, just here's what you need to do. You need to, take some profit, take some of your profit, throw it into Celsius, get 8% on your money per year. That's what all the big boys are doing. People that have, hundreds of millions of dollars or $1 billion, they're making 7% of your money. That's just the safe route. If one thing is for certain, man, these, like I said, it just exposes things. Bear markets expose things in a big way. Now, here's what's funny too. You guys remember that I reported that right after Luna fell off the face of the map, what's our boy over there? Old Justin Sun. Old Justin Sun with Tron. Justin Sun announces USDD. It's Tron's ecosystem stablecoin. It's a purely algorithmic stablecoin. And they do have a little money to back it. So let me just show you what our furry little friend, old Justin Sun's doing right now. See, you're going to pull the damn chart up here. Oh, this is just beautiful. So last week he's talking about it. Last week he was saying that, we've learned from the mistakes of Luna. We're not going to make the same mistakes. They're using similar code in their USDD coin, purely algorithmic. So what had to happen today? USDD stablecoin falls down to 97 cents. Now, when I looked at it, I think it was actually, I think it was a little bit lower than that. But USDD, that's USDC. Where the hell did I put USDD? That doesn't make sense. There it is. Look at that. Uh-oh, Justin Sun. USDD found, about 97 cents. Now, what did they have to do? So I guess they learned some sort of lesson, right? The DAO had to insert $700 million to defend the peg. Analytics platform Nansen showed that one of the funds that capitalized on the USDD peg has started to transfer large amounts of USDD. While the market has not fully recovered from the onslaught caused by the Terra DPEG, another stablecoin project shows signs of distress, causing fear and speculation within the community. Stablecoin protocol's USDD's price dipped by 97% on major crypto trading platforms on Monday. Because of this, the market started to keep an eye on the project with fears that the project will follow the footsteps of Terra Luna, now officially Luna Classic. Curve Swaps, which is a bot that monitors large asset transfers, flagged that 1 million USDD was recently swapped to 997,339 Tether. On the other hand, blockchain analytics platform Nansen also detected that one of the funds that capitalized on the USDD peg has started to actively transfer larger amounts of USDD and other stablecoins. We'll keep monitoring this, folks. All right. USDD is currently just 92% collateralized by the reserves, even considering the TRX funds. If you subtract TRX, it turns out to a collateralization ratio of 73%. Also, the 140 million USDT are not really USDT, but they're wrapped USDT. So, guys, I'm telling you, man, this is what it's all about, man. This is the cool thing about markets, right? This will wipe people out that don't have solid use cases, and not even solid use cases. It's just that they experiment and they use your money as the hamster. It's a friggin' hamster wheel out here, man. What do we got next? Oh, old Bitcoin mining rigs risk shutdown after BTC price slips under 24,000. Guys, what do you think? A huge amount of this selling is a lot of these mining rigs. They distributed all the way to the top, and they've been distributing all the way to the bottom until they get to this point. They're not profitable anymore. The profitability of many ASIC machines has dropped into the negative zone after Bitcoin's fall to below 24,000. So these machines include the Antminer S11, the Avalon Miner 921, which are now close to their shutdown price. Profitability is way, 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 way down. So guys, it's this is the SITREP. It's getting brutal. Lowest weekly close since December of 2020. 5 things to know in Bitcoin this week. Bitcoin sheds 12% in 24 hours. Whole market's freaking out. So let's check chat here, and then we're going to get into the world news. So we did the charts, took a look at that. We talked cash trash to everybody in chat. We're going to do it again. And then we're going to get into the world news. And trust me, I got some good stuff for you guys there too. Imagine not shaving from the PulseChain sack until the launch. Well, you know, it's going to be 1,000x for me. So I'm going to shave day one. 1,000x happens, and then I'll shave again. Okay. Red pandas. Yeah, those damn red pandas. That's what they're called. Do you have any Trash Panda board games? Nah, don't have that. I laughed for days after the first time I read Trash Panda on Reddit. But bro, those pumpkin spice Trash Pandas, those fall color Trash Pandas. You get the pumpkin spice lattes. Jackie is a whiskey rep. Yeah, that's right, Jackie. BitMEX signals shows me that 80% of traders are long now on Bitcoin. Let's check. Let's check and see what we got here. And let's see. We'll share that up. We'll go to BitMEX longs, right? BTC USD longs. Yeah, of course. Yep, longs are stacking up. Look at that. Oh man, we are in a bear market. People trying to catch that knife. Stacking up. They're gonna keep getting liquidated too, man. They're gonna keep getting stopped out. That's just how this goes. You are right, man. Let's check the shorts. I know we could use the same chart, but this is a little bit different. Yeah. Gosh, guys, shorts it's brutal. It's brutal out there. I just love it. You guys surviving here. All right, let's check. All right. Binance used to go down every time the market made a move. I'm back here for more nonsense. Mr. Rafferty, I need help. Let's go, Brandon. Cape Figure, hello. Please put only whiskey rep my way. I know. I hear you on that, Cape Figure. Hoboken, no joking. Is that where you at, man? You in Hoboken? Win stream, sir. Bitfinis don't shoot. YOLO Rags, what's up? The meta. Safe like a stapled condom. Gosh, man. I got stories. You take those condoms and you just take the needle, pop, hand it to your buddy. Here you go, man. That's like a very, very expensive prank. It's like that's like a lifetime expensive prank. On Hexable, maybe in a few years, going to be wild if I ever start streaming. No desk will be involved. Orion, you're 100% correct, Rags. Bear markets expose the truth in crypto. Not only in crypto, but in people. Bear markets expose, when everything's good, everybody's free to act the way that they want the people to see them act, right? It's when things get weird, that's when the character comes out. And I know that if I ask you right now, so think about somebody that you know on Twitter. Think about somebody that you know on Twitter right now, or somebody that's involved in crypto that has lost their ever-loving minds, and the character's been exposed. And I bet you can think of one right now. I bet you can. I can think of a couple. Okay. Finn Bear says, guys, everyone who would have been 10x collateralized will now be wrecked and down all the tax debt. Yeah, the IRS is pissed off, I'd imagine. IRS is pissed off. They don't have that capital gains this year. All those capital gains is a bear market, but they'll be sitting pretty in a couple years. WhalesOnly. Ballenas, solamente ballenas. What's up, dude? How you doing, brother? Finn Bear in the house. Yo, man, let me get Whales up in here. Shoot, Whales don't have no time to get up in here, man. I might do it anyway. I might just send it out. Gosh, man, that would make me so happy. All right, let's do that. Oh, we got another special guest potentially. We'll see what happens there. Let's go here. Bang. Just sending them out, man. It's like Pez candy. Let's hype it up in here, folks. Bitfinesse, thanks on Hexable. Building feels risky, but I just can't let myself get priced out of Hex. Just pushing this all out as far as I can. I feel good. No stopping anytime soon. Never sail, car, tail. Afternoon. MT Corner. Some big miners would also use their BTC as collateral. With all the markets crashing and interest rates rising, they're forced to liquidate, resulting in further capitulation. You are right. Leverage long is a huge mistake now. What's up, Whales? What's up? I would have long too. Wrecked. Haven't gambled in over a year. All I'm doing is daily for these ETH buys for future gas and weekly Hex buys. It'll eventually pay off. Well, guys, I feel like I need to have an intro here, but I don't have a proper one, so we'll just use Brizz's intro. Here we go. Yo!
Yeah. I didn't know he had that intro.
Oh, that got me moving my hips. What about you, man? I was like,
yeah, that's like a salsa joint right there.
Dude, triple step, baby. I
was
looking
looking for the food. I was like, hold on, am I in a restaurant right now?
Alan says, I feel the trumpets. It feels like Mexico.
Yeah,
God, you're such a racist. That's disgusting, Alan. Bro, what's going on in these markets, man? I mean, this is awesome.
Hey, man, we talked about it for a long time, and here we are. And this is the whole point of being staked. You know, whoever staked, whether they bought at 45 cents or at half a cent, they sleep good at night because they know they're buying the dip every single day. Gosh, that's the whole name of the game. Because look at where we're at now. Just in terms of the actual geopolitical / macroeconomic landscape, it's the end of the reserve status for the USD, period. And nobody in the US will want to accept it or acknowledge it. And that's exactly why it's happening right fucking now.
So here's the question. I think that the US, in terms of global reserves, holds something like 45% of total global reserves. What do you think? Are you saying that the global currency is going to be replaced?
I'm not saying it's going to be replaced. I'm not saying it's going to be replaced. What's going to happen is you're going to have a fragmentation of how trade is done internationally, and it's already occurring. So while people are looking for this one shining thing, it's not going to come. Everybody's now going to do their own thing because guess what? Everybody now understands globalization, i.e. centralization, does not work. Because if it works for one, that means everybody else is losing. And that's what everybody has just figured out over the past 50 years. but only in the last 2.
Because it took this happening for
Yep.
people to be able to
Connect these
you got to
dots.
go through the experiment, the social experiment, and now we see it doesn't work.
Right.
All right, we got another guest here. Let's check him out. What is up, brother, man?
Boom. What up, man? What's going on, Gary?
I'm got about 3 hours at the airport. There's no better place I'd rather be than with you guys.
There you
Talking
go.
about this, chop it up and our financial wars that are coming.
Oh man, it's crazy right now, isn't it?
Gary's bringing in the dude that quote that you had, man, at the beginning, dude. That got me all fired up, bro. Where'd that come from?
That's out of my head, man. That's probably.
Gary's a freaking academic. You just don't know.
Gary's a poet.
I think it's from Full Metal Jacket. I watched it again yesterday. I was like, "Yep, get ready. Here we go. Financial wars are on the way. I need Gunny Hartman out there."
All right, guys. So let's just ask you guys this. All right. So I think that one of the points I made right before y'all got on was that bear markets show character and bear markets also uncover weaknesses. What has been your experience up until this point with the statement that I just made? Go ahead, Gary. Let you take it first.
I think it's. I'll probably echo the same thing that Wales has been saying for years. When you have bull, right? A lot of bull is bullshit. A lot of it is I'm just going to throw money because I can throw a dart and it's going to hit something and have an ROI. And the free flow of zero cost money, currency, expressed from the inflation of the Fed, means that you have malinvestment. You don't need to know the idea. I don't care about the white paper. My friend's cousin's nephew is launching the Yo app, and it's a
literally
version that
the Yo app. I love it.
He does 3 characters: YO and an exclamation mark. It's gonna be a fucking banger.
Banger.
Done. Here's 50 million.
That sounds about right. What about you, Wales? Looks like Gary might be froze up a little.
Yeah.
Am I back on?
Yeah, I got you.
I lagged out. Okay, I'm back on. So I changed over to my cell phone. But what I was saying is, in bull markets, there's misinvestment, malinvestment, all kinds of hookers and blow in the back room, making other people's money work for them. Bad stuff. And I think that that's what happens in this economy right now. Macro, crypto, stock. It's a raging fire that will clear out the underbrush. That's my opinion.
Yeah. What you got, Wales? What are you thinking, man? You got me, brother? You hear me?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking to myself. I was on mute. I didn't realize I wasn't on
mute. Oh, no, you good. You good.
What was interesting for me is that my entry into the game was during the bear market. So everything from my point of view is always from that perspective. And this is why, I don't look at things the way the average person does, because when I learned the game, A, I had to learn it by myself, and B, the world was on fire. So I was literally going off the headlines and whatever I could pluck out of thin air, because when you don't know, right? And I think that was the most interesting thing for me. And what that helped me realize is that everything is not what it seems. Right now, what the hell do I mean? Look at all these things that are happening right now. It's almost like it was written. Because just like I've been telling people for the longest time, hey, these people are setting us up for this, doing that, blah, 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 blah. What are they doing? Well, they are literally teeing up the headlines where now it's crypto is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Every entity that wants to participate cannot participate magically all of a sudden. And when is it happening? Oh, right when everybody's quote unquote buying the dip, but guess what? There's more rug below. I mean, dude. Fidelity literally had a headline Friday saying, now is the time where we're going to double the size of our crypto operation. Fidelity. Do you know who Fidelity is?
The big
Like
boys.
for the people that don't understand, that's like saying the stock market is going to now become the crypto market. So major things are happening and people are over here asleep at the wheel, not understanding. And this is what you're referring to when it says, when you were saying crypto market reveals character. And that's right.
Mhm.
Because who's paying attention and who's not, it becomes very evident when things are not all pie in the sky. And this is the whole reason why staking exists. This is the whole reason why Hex is the premier product, because it removes the reason, the need, the desire to have emotion invoked during this type of process. What people need to be focused on is, as I discussed in the previous stream, how is their balance sheet set up right now? What can they do to improve their balance sheet? Because that's what it's about. This is when you make yourself, not during bull markets. Because if you didn't cash out at the top, guess what? Too late now. Clearly, after a 95% drop, I mean, what do you want?
I think this also outlines the fact that cryptocurrency exists not for you to depend on somebody else to pump your own bags. It's you in the contract, and I have to say that over and over and over again. But here's the cool thing: regardless of what Richard does, regardless of what I say or Gary or Wales or whatever, right now there's a lot of people that have the opportunity to make a lot of money in crypto because we're in a bear market, and they're not going to do it. And then they're going to come back in 3 or 4 years and blame everybody else but themselves. So it's a really cool feature of cryptocurrency. And it also, again, it outlines the people who have the grit and determination to be here, and also outlines the people who don't. It's like a forest fire. We're cleaning out the forest floor right now. That's what it feels like.
That's a good way of putting it. That's a great way of putting it. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's like I've said it for a long time. Everybody wants to be rich, and I've said this for pretty much probably since I started streaming. Everybody wants to be rich, but nobody wants to put in the work to keep the gains.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what I've been talking about. It's easy when the number only goes up, man. But what about when it goes down?
Yeah, it's rule number 1 is don't nuke yourself. That's all you have to do right now. This is not going anywhere. Just keep accumulating and don't lose, and don't nuke yourself. Don't make bad decisions. Don't put your money in the hands of third parties. Just do the right things. That's literally all you have to do. But we're humans.
Yeah,
and some people don't have the experience, and they don't understand what this looks like. I think Trayvon put out a poll this morning. He said something to the effect of like, how many of you guys out there are financially distressed right now? And it was like 40%. 40% of respondents said that they were. And it's just, crypto will show you and teach you the lessons that you need to learn. And people are learning a lot of lessons. Yeah,
I would say that markets in general, because these are lessons that I've learned when I was young, because I was participating in markets. Because here's the thing: when we're just waking up, going to work, and going to sleep, you're just operating based off this notion that that's just what it is. But that's not reality.
Yeah.
You have the ability to do more with your time if you want. And that's kind of what crypto helps people understand a little bit, right? Because if you get wrecked in markets, you realize, holy crap, I just had all this money. Now I don't have it.
Yeah.
That means you can regain it if you really want to, right? I mean, that's the way I took it when I got wrecked the first time. I'm still here. So
I agree. Now, and it just stinks though, because you wish you could snap your fingers and have people understand how important right now is for their net worth,
for their future,
and you just can't do it. And these opportunities don't come along often. Gary, let me ask you this, man. A lot of people haven't been through these cycles, and we're going down to the bottom. We're probably going to be chopping sideways for a long time at the very least. Everybody's going to be shaken out. What happens after that? what do you start seeing? What are some of the signs that were coming out of it?
I think it takes a mind shift. I mean, me personally, I've been trying to promote more recently about being productive, being useful, delivering more value to your audience than you take from it. And I think that a lot of the casino of crypto, of the real estate market, the stock market, things like that has been value extraction. Main Street gets just, you know, extracted value from them, from the audience. And I think that, you know, it's one of my, again, my long-term 10, 12 years philosophy has been more about searching for a sound money narrative. Maybe a politician that stands up and says and acts as they said that they would before they got elected. Maybe a metal, you know, it used to be a gold bug or silver bug mentality. I see that the chart doesn't respect that, so it's not metals for me. I think that for me, like, the thing that changes is participants need to deliver more value. Like Whales takes a lot of slings, he takes a lot of arrows, he takes a lot of heat because he speaks fucking truth. And so does Richard. He doesn't frame it in the most politically sensitive way, doesn't make it the most palatable, you know, for every audience's ear, but he speaks truth. And the code inside of Hex, I mean, I want to say something that's kind of unpopular, even though I sacrifice for PulseChain and PulseX. I've seen how this has played out with Bitcoin as the market moving price. If Bitcoin's going up, alts are going up. Alt season, Bitcoin season. This narrative's played out inside the crypto space since 2017 that I've been aware of it, right? And that pairing, that bonding, that Hart's law, that kind of stuff. People that can move the price and ratios, they do, right? People get sucked into the, here it's going up, I'm going to shift over all of my BTC to alt season. And I'm going to take all my mad dirty gains in the alt season and I'm going to consolidate them when I sense and the market tells me that Bitcoin season is coming and let's consolidate. I think the same thing's going to happen with PulseChain, PulseX, Pulse with Hex. I think the same thing's going to play out. I'm going to be supportive of the whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
Are you still
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
I'm going to be supportive of the whole ecosystem. However, there are risks in PulseChain. There are. It's not a finished product. It's not a ROI based on staking product. It's a project. In a lot of ways, we're going to support it. I will. I'm going to promote it. I'm going to promote, you know, because I think that the theme behind it is more truthful. I think Richard Hart is a truthful person when it comes to the development. I think the developers he chooses are going to try to do the truthful things. But there are risk vectors. It is still a modified project, right? It's modified because it's a fork with some variable changes. I think the same thing with PulseX. I've sacrificed pretty heavily for PulseX. I like that as a DEX. I like it as a better solution than Uniswap or PancakeSwap or whatever for people that are going to trade. However, the core product for me, is Hex. And it is because in the algorithm, in the code, it tells you what your reward will be. It says, here's how it works. Here's the yield. Here's how the world's trying to make money on top of money, cash on cash return. Here's how they're trying to do it with cash. They're trying through these different, even in real estate, you know, you try to buy property that has cash flow. Hey, my tenant is going to pay for my mortgage instead of me. Hey, I'm going to be able to live off of the fruits of the orchard, you know, by taking good care of the trees. The apples are going to feed me. Everybody looks for yield. We're part of human nature. We're looking for yield. And I think that the only product that represents that in a sound money thesis in my head is Hex. Yeah. I can look at the code. I can see that there's going to be people that shake out, that never become locked, that stay liquid. They're going to have different narratives and try to manipulate the price up and down, just like right now is happening. And that's, you know, because it is an ERC20, it is a token that represents a smart contract that you can generate yield from. So I love the product, I love the community, but I think that for me, going forward over the next few years, the Bitcoin altcoin seasonality will shift. I think it will shift over time to being a Hex as the Bitcoin season. Here's where you can always get yield during bears. And I think that the playing around, playground, let's see how this works, and maybe I can get a faster ROI craving that human beings are going to chase. will still play out inside the ecosystem of PulseChain. So I'm careful about, like, I want to see how this Whales can talk to these things about the bonding between, here is Hex on PulseChain and it's paired. Here is PulseChain and PulseX and they're paired. They're going to have oscillations, going to have different charts, going to have different narratives. But like, my only thing I really care about is my Hex on Hex returns. I think that's the that's what I want to speak to over the coming years. What are your thoughts, Will?
I think that's what I've been speaking to the most lately, because I think people really didn't grasp that that's the main message, because over time the variability of the real world that we live in is unlike what we get from crypto, and that's why crypto is so strong foundationally, right? We know that one hex is one hex, one BTC is one BTC, one Ethereum is one Ethereum. We know this. Like, nobody can change that. But the main difference is that we know that these things that we call cryptocurrencies can generate more fiat units of account. And that's the important thing that people need to understand. Because people are used to looking at things the inverse way. But they need to look at it the way that it's being relayed by yourself and not. Because that is a correct way. Crypto is the asset. It's the bedrock. Because that's what exists now. It's no longer gold, because we can't just go scoop up gold and store it somewhere. It's a much more onerous prospect for an individual to embark upon relative to crypto. I mean, it just changes the game, and people are going to have a hard time accepting that. But guess what? Once you grasp the reality of value, it's very easy to understand that this is the future, whether we like it or not. And I'm going to tell you, it took me a long time to accept it, but it is what it is. So,
yeah, I love that. And one cool thing for me, I've been on this journey for a little bit. You know, you hear something, but if you don't have any type of experience, you don't get emotionally connected to what you know.
right.
That's what I like about what's happening right now, because all of the features and benefits of Hex, I'm starting to understand why it's so important, because we're in a bear market. Not only for myself, but everybody else too. All of these people who are second guessing whether or not that they want to sell because they're going to get penalized and they don't have anything else better to do. They just need to hold through all of this. Hex is it's cool because I feel like I come to epiphanies. I connect the experience with the knowledge, and there's an emotional connection there that I'm like, oh gosh. And I've been talking about it, but sometimes knowledge can be a little bit hollow and empty until you actually go through it and understand why it's so important. I want to ask you guys this, and this is the type of stuff I talk about on my show a lot. One of those statements that I made on Twitter, I said, this is going to be studied for a century. This market crash and all of the events that led up to this. At this point, is there any suspicion that they don't give a damn about fiat currency? Just fiat in and of itself, not backed by anything really. Are they trying to just debase this currency into oblivion to replace it with the CBDC? Or what are your thoughts? And then what can people do after this? We've been so conditioned to accept these recessions and these crashes every 10 to 20 years. And it doesn't have to be that way, but it seemed going to be that way. Am I right in saying that?
I mean, that's a tough one, right? Because we only know certain types of economic structures, right? When it comes to markets, how trade happens and whatnot. And then we don't really know how an economy is supposed to be structured. For example, there shouldn't be taxes levied on income. There should be taxes levied on tariffs. And on top of that, you should have comparative advantage economies, not globalized economies where, market participants, i.e. any corporation, can pick and choose where, God damn it. Hold on, guys.
You're good. Yeah, so
Can pick and choose. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
No, go ahead, please.
Can pick and choose where they want to essentially extract labor and capital resources from, which is what we have today, right? Instead of, say, for example, an Arabian company being the biggest oil producer in the world relative to a Shell or an Exxon or whatever, an American company or BP. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the world we live in. We live in a world where the reach is relative to the corporation, because that's how it's been designed since the inception. But it wasn't always like that. It's only the inception that we know. See, unless you actually study economic history, you're not going to know that yesteryear, what actually was no taxes on income, no taxes on pretty much most purchases, and what was taxed were imported goods, strictly. But who paid the tax? The producer, the person exporting the goods from there, because they're the ones that are going to benefit, not
Sure.
us. We're just buying it. We're just for buying the good, the good of service. But they're the ones that are producing it, and they're the ones that are benefiting economically from it. So they're the ones that pay the tax, or the however they structure the deal. Because the cool thing about tariffs that most people don't know is that happens inside. It could either be the person selling the good, or the producer selling the good to the retailer on this end. So in between, it could happen any which way. There's no real strict way it could happen. But it's not the end user that pays that tax, is my point. It might be embedded in the cost, but you shouldn't see it. Like, we see it in the form of a tax, which degrades the value of that unit of account, because that's what taxes do, right? That's the reality of what a tax does, especially when you're talking about you're getting your income tax, your employer is getting taxes for hiring you, then you're getting taxed every time you spend $1. I mean, we don't even need to keep going into it. Anytime you spend a currency unit, a fiat unit, you're getting taxed. So it's wild, man. It's wild.
And I love that. And Gary, do you think with COVID and what's about to happen with the economy on the macro scale, do you think that there is any more trust left for citizens with regards to their government and with regards to how their government has handled everything up until this point? And how do you think people are going to react after all of this?
I think we get back to, I mean, and again, it's dystopian in some points of view, but I think we're wired to have, what's this word? I just heard it on Joe Rogan the other day. Also was how many people that you directly interact with, like 9 people are your direct
Degrees
friends.
of separation.
Yeah, it's like, how many are your direct friends, like you absolutely trust? How many people do you know on a first name basis? It's like 150 or 200 people. How many people do you have? Oh, that's a friend of a friend. Like, it's these spheres of influence and impact on your perception of the world and how much impact you can have on theirs, right? And we're wired as human beings for the past like 50,000 years to think of 200 people. Like, beyond that, we don't think of. Like, we are tribalistic kind of social psychology. And I think that trust in government is at all-time low. Trust in third party is very, very low. It's like, this corporation is going to do me right. I'm going to turn over my value coupons, whether it's dollar, fiat, crypto, whatever, and hopefully they're going to do it for me. And that obviously has been failing and flopping over and over. So our cynicism is at all-time highs. And our cynicism really comes down to, I think it consolidates to the people like in this. I trust you guys more than I trust a talking head on MSNBC. I think that's one of the sound money desire, from my perspective, that is from a farming kind of perspective, like from my childhood. If you put in the work, you do the agricultural thing, you have yield, you have your crop, you have something you can bring to a marketplace. You're delivering more value than you need for yourself or for your own family, right? You're exporting. So I think that narrative plays out very well with the Hex product, with the crypto narrative. If we have a mission statement, if as a group or as a tribe or as an advocate for the position of crypto is, here's what crypto is. It doesn't have admin keys. Here's what it is. It's transparent and it's immutable. You can see the code. You can see how it how it executes. Here's the digital world we want to construct from a sound money thesis. That stuff, that's what matters to me. And there's not a lot of trust in voting power. Tim Draper talks about this all the time. Government will shrink and it will conform when it's trying to have the appetite for what you have, right? And it can't get it at it unless you basically volunteer it. You have to volunteer it. So I want that world. But the thing is, we're so leveraged and we're so credit driven. Credit is debt. A lot of people say you can't. Like I'm sitting right now in $1 billion airport. Could that have been built without credit, without a loan? Would have people have brought together resources? They wouldn't have done it.
Can we
right?
have a conversation about that? Because that's a very
Yeah.
good point that I think a lot of people overlook.
Right.
What if any of the structures that are, let's say, 50 years old would even exist without credit? They wouldn't, right?
Right.
They honestly just would not.
Yeah,
That's
because
something
in a
to
sound, you can look at. Wales knows this stuff. In a sound money, everybody takes gold doubloons and throws them on the countertop to pay for something because now the debt is, the cost is fully paid in advance, right? We wouldn't have the society in the world that we have now. We wouldn't have that. We do use debt. We use credit. We use, hey, I promise IOUs. We use that all the time, whether it's government to government or people to people. And sometimes that capital management by someone that knows what they're doing yields productive things for society, right? Entrepreneurs, capitalists are ones that have proven to the marketplace that they make good bets. They make solid bets, right? Capital allocation, that's what that's about. And in a bull market where everything goes up, people bet poorly. They don't have to be very savvy, right? They don't have to be knowledgeable. They just have to have enough influence to get money into the coffer. So I like the math over men narrative. I like the product of Hex because of the math over men narrative. Yeah.
And I completely agree with that. I think that credit and leverage and things like that are very important to build society. You look at real estate, for example. Gary, you're in it. You say, yeah, you can go out and you've got let's say you got $1 million. You can go out and you can pay for a house, cash $1 million, and then that'll cash flow every month. Or you can buy 5 houses and put $200,000 down. It's a big difference.
Right. Yep.
The question that I would ask both of you is, what price are we paying because our government is using these same tactics, but they have no oversight? What price are we paying because of their bad decisions? They're horrible. In an ecosystem like that, I think the guys at the top, they need to be the mooring. They have to be the most controlled and regulated, because if they don't, we crumble.
Yeah,
and that's what frustrates me so much. That's what makes me so pissed off at my politicians, because they campaign, they get in there, and I think the beast is too big. The beast is too big at this point for one person, no matter how much they talk, to make a dent. The biggest dent that I have actually seen, and I know a lot of my listeners disagree with me on this because they're just skeptics about everything. I think it's incredible to see what Elon Musk did with Twitter. And that kind of showed me a couple things. That showed me that in today's world, you have got to have tremendous amounts of influence financially to be able to affect any change whatsoever. And I'm not talking about millions of dollars. We're talking about billions. And we're talking about nation states. We're talking about trillions. We're talking about the big banks. It's a really, really scary thing at this point to have everything so centralized with no oversight, in my opinion. What do you think, Wales?
Well, tell you what, it's been one of my biggest frustrations in my lifetime, because this is what we see everywhere. There's always one entity that seems to be in control of it all. And the odd thing is that there's never anybody in control of the entity. And interestingly enough, the reality is as follows. What's regulated is the inverse of what should be regulated, as you stated earlier. The persons that are administrating our reality should be the people that are most regulated because they're the ones that control and yield the most power and impact on our day-to-day lives. Whether we pay attention to it or not is irrelevant. That's a fact. And that's what doesn't happen. So the way the world is structured literally has to be inverted, whether people like it or not. The fools at the top should not be dictating what happens, period, ever. Doesn't matter what the hell experience they have, because clearly that strategy just doesn't work.
You're right, man. And I think we've fallen. I think we have been so separated from all the tragedies of the past with regards to government, authoritarianism, tyranny. The governments don't respect the people at all. They have no fear whatsoever.
Zero.
None.
Look at what they're
So
trying
that's
to
a
do today.
problem. That's an automatic check and balance
Mm-hmm.
when governments fear the people. But we're hundreds and hundreds of years separated from that. In the Western world, we haven't really had to deal with that as much as you saw with the tyranny and the authoritarianism of the 20th century, where more people died in the 20th century at the ideology of Marx and Engels than any other time in human history. But again, you take a poll. I think they took a poll of Americans back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. People did not understand what was happening in the Soviet Union. They kept that away from the American people. And in the first time that anybody actually ever understood what happened was when the Russian author wrote the Gulag Archipelago. And this was based on 300 real stories from people who survived it. So we just don't understand what it really looks like, and we don't understand the causes that lead up to it. So we don't understand that we're boiling right now. And people are not students of history, and people are too trusting. And I listened to a Twitter space this morning, and they're like, well, what do we do? And somebody said, well, the only option is we gotta pay these politicians more money than the other person. That doesn't matter anymore.
Nah.
That there has got to be some
Character
type of
matters.
reckoning.
Character matters more than anything. Because if you get in bed with the wrong clown, guess what? It's not going to be fun for you. It's going to be fun for somebody else. Simple as that. So you really got to be careful because nowadays, I mean, just within the community, you see it. You cross the wrong person, tell them the wrong thing, you end up paying the price for it. Just because they know something about you and they're a duplicitous character. Happens all the time.
I have a question for I have a general question for Whales, Rags, if you have a comment too. So for years I have heard this. Well, when the debt jubilee comes along, when everything burns down and they reset, because in Babylon every so often they got overextended and they did a jubilee. It's in the Bible. Yep. Yeah. So nobody should have debt again. Right. Everything is so interconnected. The status quo. It's sad because I am a Roman inside of the Roman Empire. Sadly, that's what's going on. We export our inflation to other countries. Other countries pay a much harder life because we do export our inflation. We give them pieces of paper that have dead presidents on them. They give us raw materials, finished goods. This export thing's been going on for a while. And my question is, do you think that there will ever be this wiping of the slate scenario, this burn it down, jubilee, start all over, nobody owes me anything, be productive world? You think that's ever going to happen?
I think if it happens, it'll happen not by choice. I think it'll happen because markets will force it on the government. Because I think the most confusing thing about what we're experiencing present day is that it's almost impossible for us to realize that the government and the bad actors are one and the same. Very important to understand that, because when the Federal Reserve makes a move, that's on behalf of their characters, their puppets. And those people are the politicians. I mean, you can't sit here and tell me that every move that's happened in the past 20 years that has essentially been the wrong move has been done innocently. No, of course not. It's impossible. Because it's taken us exactly to where I figured out we would be. And I'm no Harvard educated genius. So clearly, that's not what it's about. So, chop chop, wakey wakey. That's where we're at this point in time, unfortunately, because they're doing what they have to do to accomplish their goals and objectives. And they're not concerned. I mean, look at what's happening in the markets today. Today, the markets closed literally 22% off the record high, all-time high. 22% down. And they were hyping this market up a month ago. Buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. Right? So the debt jubilee, where does it come from? And I think that's the question that really needs to be answered. And we kind of saw it part and parcel on Friday. I don't know if you guys are aware, but on Friday, there was a no bid situation in the mortgage-backed securities market. Yeah, that's right. You're on mute, Jim, please. On mute.
No, nobody was eating that sausage. Nobody's taking a bite out of that AAA rated MBS.
Yo, I've been talking about it since Friday.
When there's no buyers in the market. That's like New York real estate, actually. Exactly. Like a lot of Times Square has been empty for close to 2 years or longer. And they say, well, why don't you bring the price down? It's because they can't. They cannot. The owner can't bring the price down because then they'll have a call. They'll have to come up with $1 million if they accept $10,000 per month less for that empty property. They can't do it. MBS.
And these are things that go ahead, Rad. Go ahead.
No, these are things that what? Go ahead, finish that.
Oh, that just the average person is not gonna have a clue about. I mean, that no bid for that MBS paper on Friday is literally the thing that kills markets. That market literally ceased to exist at that point in time. And people don't appreciate, like, it's almost impossible to appreciate that unless you really get it. I mean, imagine going outside to go to the store to get some food because you have none and you cannot. It's just not there. That's exactly what that is. I mean, imagine you want to sell your house. No buyer. Sorry, guy. You're just stuck. That's literally what that is. I mean, all hell should be breaking loose. People should be lined up at banks, and nobody's moving a muscle because nobody has a clue what that shit means. It's crazy, bro. Yeah, this is where we're at right now.
Gosh, man, it's just
how do you think I feel?
Brutal.
Yes, we're just getting started, bro, and we're already 22% off in the S&P. Just getting started. VIX is at 30 plus. Just getting started,
bro. The Bitcoin bros, man. I heard them this morning. They say we're gonna bounce off 20K and go to 100K. I said we in for a while, dude. This is gonna be we in for a while.
Funny. I posted a chart this morning that I just had never looked at before, and I said, you know what? Somebody mentioned something that made me think. Let me look at this chart. So BTC futures markets have these things that are called gaps, and gaps typically get filled on the way up and on the way down. Once we're going the way down, they get filled to the downside. Once you're going up, they get filled to the upside, right? Okay. So I went on the BTC futures chart and just started plucking daily, going back to however far I could go back. And I found gaps as low as 6,500. Will we see that? I don't know. But we're definitely going to see 15. We're probably going to see 10. Yeah.
So
got some gaps to close down there.
It's all the indicators, all the major indicators that aren't even being talked about publicly. They're there. The media is just a propaganda machine of whatever political party. They don't want to stir people up. And it's crazy. It's crazy. It's like a comet coming.
I can show the chart if you want.
Oh, no, I believe you 100%. It's just people my point is people just don't know.
No. I meant so you can see like what the gap means.
Yeah, show it.
Okay. Because it's just a technical thing. It's not really anything fancy. Give me a second of this. It's just so basically on the way down, or excuse me, on the way up, the down candles would be the ones that highlight the what would be the gaps, right? Because they're the ones that are leaving the opening, so to speak, for price to come back down to that area. So give me a second. Let me share this screen here.
And Gary, to talk to you like a little bit, when you do look back in history, and you look at the Bank of France, and you look at the Bank of England, and you see these instances where they inflate, and everything just collapses. There's only like two things that have happened in history. One of the things is you get regime change, essentially. The citizens, they can't take it anymore. They rise up and they do bad things. The other thing that happens is you see like a regional form of globalization, in that they have to become friends with all of their creditors, and they have to basically make concessions to make the debt go away, which causes bigger problems down the road in terms of your sovereignty and things like that. What direction do we go here? I see our people very ignorant about what's happening on the macro level, what's happening on the political level, and I see our government pushing more towards that globalization model. So unfortunately, it seems like we would go that direction. What do you think?
Things only change, honestly, if you look at history, when people lose enough treasure or blood.
Yeah.
They give up their kid gets treated poorly, family members get lost and things like that, and people have had enough. When they have had enough, then they change, right? So we as humans go away from pain and toward pleasure. Like that's our natural, state, is to go away from things that are painful. We procrastinate, we slack it off and put it on someone else's shoulder because it's easier. But when people finally get to a breaking point, that's when cultures change, governments change, structure changes. As an example, Puerto Rico is only 70 miles wide. It's only 40 miles, or actually 70 miles long, 40 miles wide. And yet, over the course of since the 70s until currently, it has 112 mayors. 112. I don't think California has that many mayors.
112.
112 mayors.
Why?
So they had their little pockets of fiefdom, little pockets of support to get into an office, and then they suck from the government teats, basically, or the citizenry. Puerto Rico, again, I'm not hating on Puerto Rico. I'm just using it as an example. It doesn't have, the population was 3.5 million. I think around 800,000 or so have moved off of the island over the past 10, 12 years. And they've moved because they're looking for opportunity, right? And their family says, hey, kid, you're graduating from college. There's no opportunity here. Go elsewhere, right? So they exit out, they migrate out. And they don't have an overhead to federal government. They don't actually pay taxes out to federal government. So the money that comes from small businesses or from employment, working at a hospital, operating an ice cream store, things like that, all goes to local coffers on the island. They go to local governor and local mayors. So the economy actually feeds just the island. But the overhead actually comes from FEMA, welfare, Social Security, and things like that are all things that are paid to the island from taxation on you and your local government. Some of your tax money actually pays for Puerto Rican, safety net, if you want to call it that, right? And that's not sustainable. Like you can't stand on a podium, say I will give you free shit forever, and not have those roosters come back to the hen house, right? They will come back.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, do you know why, right? It's because so they could use the island militarily, basically.
Yeah. Well, again, when it had utility, when the
Right.
deal was struck 100 years ago, 100
Right.
years ago, having sea power that far off the coast was worthwhile.
Right.
We had Rosie
Correct.
Roads, we had a big Navy base there. Now it's it's a great VA hospital, but that's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's nothing else there.
technically dilapidated relative to what it once was because of what you just stated.
Yeah. So I mean, there's all kinds of tools in there, but again, you want to justify your job, but you don't actually have to be efficient at it in government. You do not have to be good at all. You don't have to really deliver service. You just have to talk a good game that you will. Like in the future, I will deliver something for you, and you can be in office.
That's all
Awesome.
politicians do, man.
Alan, thank you very much for your $5. Gary, you froze earlier. It was a very flattering picture of you. And then one more here. Bitfinis, you low down dirty son of a gun. Have you seen any tanker trucks on Puerto Rico, Gary? Curious.
Tanker trucks is in fuel? What is he asking?
Yeah.
No, you mean as far as like staging for military? I haven't honestly been in Puerto Rico that much. Like this past month, I've been traveling. I was there for like 2 months, and then before that, I've been on the road for like 7 months. So I haven't been there enough to observe. I will come back. Oh, in middle of July, like I'm going to start a lot more content. Some of it's going to have some crypto, but it's not really crypto. Like I really want to show an example. All of us should about improving our social media content generation, production quality. Talking about things that have nothing to do with X or crypto, and engage the rest of the world, because the rest of the world is going to be hungry for what can I do, how can I act, what should I look for, and you can be that influencer, you can be that commentator if you have integrity. So I want to start working on that.
Love it. Great idea. Bitfinis, thank you so much for that 20. Appreciate it. Yeah, Whales, go ahead, man.
Sure. So we're looking at the Bitcoin CME futures chart, daily time frame. Each candle is 1 day, and what we're highlighting is a close that is opposite the trend. Right, this close is down, it's opposite the uptrend, and if price for the next day does not traverse the whole candle, that means there's a gap, and that's exactly what was being highlighted there. And turns out there's a couple more here that I didn't catch earlier because there are so many on this chart. Here's another one, because as you guys can see, the close for this candle is down here. So that's where the candle finished, but it opened all the way up here the following day. And this is a 23/5 market. So that means 23 hours, 5 days a week. So, typically these get filled, whether we like it or not. So that's one of the main reasons people track them. But there's so many on this chart that you don't even really need to. I mean, this is 87. So this is the lowest one. The lowest one is 6210. That's the lowest one. This one is 87.85, I think it was. Yep. This one is 90.60. I mean, there's so many. The whole point is to just show you guys where they develop, how they show up. Because they're all over this chart. And typically, here's another one. The market always fills these gaps. Just the way it works. And as you guys can see, we're already filling in some of these gaps. Give me a second here. There's one. And, as you guys can see, the market came back and earlier in the year and filled this gap from this point in time and then just went back up. Came back again. But see, here now we have this gap that'll get filled back on the upside in the future. See, because that's the way it works. At some point in the future, this gap will have to get closed because the market closed there and it just kept going.
Break it down for some of the people in chat who don't understand what the significance of it. What's the significance?
So the significance is essentially the market just kept going in one direction and it never really covered the previous day's range. Right. So what that typically means is that the market either is off step, off balance, or oversupplied to one side. And it kind of keeps pushing, right? The market keeps getting pushed in that direction. So over time, the market has to find balance. Yes. That's the point of every market, is to find equilibrium. So that's the main point of highlighting these gaps. The market has to, at some point in the future, come back and fill them. Just like you have this one here. Because you see, the market closed down here, right? You see this candle here right after this one. It closed down, but the market filled it, right? Like it closed, it traversed that price area where the market closed, and then it kept going lower, lower, opened up, but you see it traversed this closing area. So it found that balance that allowed it to continue, right? And whoop, it eventually continued. But before it continued, it still filled this gap. You see, but then it left another one. Because that's how weak the market is right now. But we know how this story ends because we've seen it play out before.
Yep.
But this is the futures chart, so you're not seeing everything, right? Everything is shown to you right here. Now you're looking at the chart where it's 8 days per candle, right? And this is when they launched the CME futures, basically.
Right.
So it's important to keep perspective because this is what the game is about. That's what they're doing. They're setting themselves up for that next upswing on the long side. That's what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
Because it don't cost them nothing. It's their fiat to plug and pull. Now, this ties in like back to the question we were talking about earlier. Like, how do people find a way around this debacle that we find ourselves in? Because when you look at what's actually happening just economically, right? I mean, the dollar, you see prices change weekly now. Weekly. I mean, we're like any other country, officially. I mean, you legit had a central banker say a headline or release a headline that you would see any other third world country release. And this is the US we're talking about now.
Yeah.
So we're in dangerous territory and nobody really understands it. And it's very disheartening, but it's where we're at, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So education is the only way. Because how are people going to know that they have power? They're not.
They don't. That's number one. That is the forefront of what has to happen.
Yeah. As much as people hate it, but that's right. You know, you got to know. I mean, look at this. This is where we're at. This is with 1982, 1984 time frame being 100. Now, give me a minute, and I can change this to making it as close to 100. From yes. Let's see here. We're gonna go with the original point in time.
And while you're doing that,
Done.
Oh, you got it? Good.
Yeah. So we're talking about January 1913 equals 100. Right now, 3.4. So 97.6%.
Oh.
Or 96.6, excuse me.
Purchasing
96.
power of the US dollar.
Purchasing power of the US dollar is down 96.6% in the past 22 and 109 years.
And how far
what year was the what year was the Fed?
1913
created.
Yep, 1913.
Oh, that's a very funny coincidence.
There you go. That's it. What more proof is required?
Then you listen to this, and this is from Janet Yellen. This was on Friday, and I thought this was just completely laughable here. Let me find it. Where is it? It disappeared from me. Yeah, here it is. U.S. Secretary Janet Yellen, Treasury Secretary, said Thursday that gas prices, which just reached $5 a gallon in some U.S. states, were unlikely to fall soon. Yellen also said she expected the U.S. economy to absolutely slow down amid the Federal Reserve's rising interest rates, but there's nothing to suggest the country would face a recession. What do you think about that, guys?
You want to go first, Gary? You want me to go?
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
Oh my! I mean, how many LOLs do you need?
Is that not the craziest thing you've ever heard? I mean,
that's the
wild.
Craziest thing, bro. Imagine, like, hey, our job is literally to do that, but we failed. Sorry.
Absolutely.
We suck, but still do what we tell you to do. Thank you.
It's like you've seen that meme with that dog and he's sitting in the kitchen and he's drinking coffee, but the whole kitchen's burning around him.
Yep. Everything's fine. This is fine.
Yo, that's Janet Yellen right now, bro.
I mean, imagine I mean, but this is exactly what lets me know, guaranteed in my mind, that these people are acting in a nefarious manner.
Yeah.
This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is a fact. At this point, you can't sit here and tell me, little old me, that didn't go to Yale and wherever else she went, could figure this out and she couldn't. When she has a literal army of personnel on staff to help her do that. I don't have
No.
anybody to help me do this, and I figured it out.
I can't. It was Friday, man. She said that Friday.
I love how you're like in shock still that she even could muster up the confidence to say that.
It's no
isn't
shame,
it wild?
dude.
Isn't it wild? Because this is
No.
exactly what's crazy to me.
It's crazy, dude. And then, did you want to share some more stuff?
Yeah. Let me see if
All
I
right,
can
here I
pull
got
up.
you.
This is manufacturing labor productivity. Okay. Now, what does this show? The efficiency at which labor hours are utilized in producing outputs of goods and services. People working. Are they working a lot or are they not?
Right.
Simple enough, right?
Not a lot. Production's down. That's the only way to get us out of this problem is increase production.
Look, it says when it's been down.
Oh, yep. What year is that?
This is after the recession.
Yeah, right after.
It increased
That's not good.
10 and then it got shut down.
Well, and then
There's your huckleberry, sir.
dude. All right, so here's another one. You ready? What is this largest? Yeah, this one's crazy to me, dude, because
You got another good one.
it just fall. Look at this, man. It's crazy.
I streamed almost a year ago that all this craziness was gonna happen. Here we are.
Largest U.S. pork packer closing California
disturbing,
plant.
bro.
The largest,
Disturbing.
citing high costs and red tape. Smithfield Inc., the largest pork packer in the United States, is leaving California. Smith Food Inc. today announced it will create all harvest and processing operations in Vernon, California in early 2023. So they're shutting things down. Now, here's what's crazy about this. All of these distributors, all these growers, all these manufacturers, just in terms of food, they kind of got caught in the inflation crossfire. They signed all these contracts last year.
Sure.
Since then, inflation has gone through the roof, which means a lot of these companies, dude, they're losing a lot of money right now. They have to renegotiate their contract at the end of this year. That's when things get really, really weird for the consumer because prices are going to go absolutely nuclear Q1 of next year because of all these renegotiations. So it's just one thing after another, man.
Well, the sad part is that until the education becomes such that people can understand that they have the power, it's going to pretty much be, status quo, unfortunately.
Yeah. Either that or you have enough people that understand that they rise up and you just have at least a small pocket of hope that hopefully inspires other people.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like being part of this community in my mind. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Alan Fizz, what's up? $10. Appreciate you, brother. Inflation is in effect a hidden tax. The money that people have saved is robbed of part of its purchasing power, which is quietly transferred to the government that issues new money. Thomas Sowell. Absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely. All right. Let's see what we got here in chat.
I think the past year, just on a comment about Thomas Sowell, in the past year, dude, that guy is so freaking smart. Like
he's the man.
Years.
He's the man.
I love that. His content. You should. Anybody that's in the audience, do yourself a favor.
Look him up.
Look it up on YouTube. Watch a few of his snippets. It'll inspire you because he is a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, he doesn't make it sound complicated at all.
Love it. Love it. Well, You got anything else there, Wales?
Just want people to see that this is just getting started over here. So
You were right about that.
Yeah, just look at how 2018 played out.
Yeah.
Right, we're looking actually weaker now than we were then. So let me just highlight just that. Let me kill this extension here. Because that thing is annoying. All right, that's already there. All right, but when this topped out in November, never saw the light of day again. Came back, tried to run through in March, excuse me, and got shut down again right at the midway. And concurrently, MACD never got above zero.
Yeah, that's not good.
And that's the killer.
Yeah.
That's the killer. So
well,
this is just getting started.
At least everybody has you, man, and at least our folks were talking about it. We've known about it for a long time. It's not that much of a surprise to our community.
Right.
So that's a good thing. And you just got to keep your head down. Don't get yourself into damn debt during this whole thing. The economy is going to get rough. If you have a skilled job, awesome. That's inflation proof and recession proof. If you don't have a skilled job, then try to get one. And just don't become a debt slave to somebody else while everything's just crashing around you. That would be some of my advice here. So you still there, Funding Jim?
Yeah, go ahead.
In order for us to end this stream, unfortunately, you have to say something nice about Wales, and Wales, you have to say something nice about Gary. I know this is difficult for you both, but it's,
I hate this guy.
Impossible. I don't know how. Yeah, very difficult.
Oh man, guys, listen, I appreciate you coming on. It was a pleasure for me. Did not expect it at all, but thanks for hanging out, Gary. Safe travels, brother. Wales, you are what you are, and we'll just leave it at that. And we're gonna play this. Anything else you guys want to leave the crowd with here?
Nah, just work on your balance sheet.
Yeah, I mean, people can bring you to water, but it's up to you to drink. It's it's your effort, and don't be passive. Like, don't only watch content and say, "Oh, I got my fill. Now I know what's going on," and don't do shit about it. Right?
Do something about it. Sure.
Do something about it. Like, create, inspire, lead, become a leader. And if anybody's going to be in Miami, the 20th until the 27th, then let me know. I'll be at Rebel Capitalist Live, which is a big event here that George Gammon's hosting. And right now I'm on my way to Switzerland. If you're in Switzerland, let me know. I'm going to go to an event there that's a high-level networking event. So I'm going to that. And I believe in the Hex product. I think that, of course, the code, the community, those are the biggest things. Richard is doing his marketing. And I've been saying this on streams this past entire week. You can pay attention to the gladiator. You don't like the gladiator twerking, then be louder than the gladiator. There you go. Create your own voice and get out there, because it is the product. The product is what matters to me. The community matters. The inspiration is really maybe Richard as far as a cultural inspiration, but it's our individual responsibility to make the code work the way it should.
Yeah, and I just want to shout out MT Coiner. This tells me that I'm doing my job right. Thank you so much, MT Coiner. All right, y'all, it's going to get loud here in about 5 seconds when I put this outro. But everybody, do not comment, subscribe, and we are out.